Hey everybody, this is my foundation follow-up video. In a haul not too long ago, I talked about several new foundations that I'm trying, and ever since I've been getting questions about how I ended up liking this one or that one. So this is just going to be a whole wrap-up of what I ended up thinking about those different foundations. So the ones I'm going to be talking about are Rimmel Clean Finish, that's a new one, Rimmel Match Perfection, Maybelline Fit Me, and also from Lancome, the Teint Idole foundation, so a high-end one in there, and I don't know if I pronounced that right. That's the way somebody else told me to pronounce it, so that's what I'm going to go with for now. The first one I'm going to talk about is Rimmel Clean Finish Foundation, and this says, look 100% poreless, vitamins A and E. It claims to be lightweight for a clean, fresh finish. Fragrance-free, dermatologist tested, so this really claims to give you that flawless complexion and be somewhat good for your skin. So what's interesting about this packaging wise, it is in this kind of glass jar, but when you take the cap off you have this little spatula, which I actually like, and I wish came with more foundations that didn't have the pump, you know, because you can take this out, you can get it off of there with your finger and then, you know, blend it in all around your face. Now when we talk about blending, that was sort of the problem I had with this. I felt like it didn't blend all that easily. Like if you're the type that likes to kind of dot your foundation all over your face and then go blend those places out, you might not be able to do that with this foundation. I really had to go section by section, like get it on my forehead, blend all that in, cheek, chin, nose, and my other side as well. Some things I can think of that might make that a little easier would be to use a damp sponge when you put this on. That sometimes helps me with my Revlon Color Stay. In terms of just the finish and the coverage and how well it lasted, I felt like it had pretty good coverage. Maybe not as good as a Revlon Color Stay foundation, but pretty good. I didn't feel like I was a grease ball by the end of the day. I really felt like the staying power was pretty good. I tend to see a little bit of oil by the end of the day around my nose with most products I try. So I still had a little bit of that, but as a whole, I was pretty impressed for less than $4 for how well this came off on my face. Just be aware, it's not super easy to blend. It's not going to be one of those you get it on your face and oh, it's so silky and it just blends so easily. You've got to use a little bit of patience, I guess, to get used to using that product. The other new foundation you've probably seen that's new from Rimmel is the Match Perfection Foundation, and this says it has Smart Tone technology and it's SPF 15, and it says it mimics skin's texture and tone for a match that blends and covers easily. I felt like the shade I wound up with here was just a little bit dark for my skin tone. I'm not holding the foundation responsible for that. That was my own, I guess, decision making there. But this is a glass jar, but it does not have the little spatula, so I wonder why they decided to give it to that one and not this one. This did spread on a little more easily. It reminded me somewhat, as I put it on, of the Lasting Finish, only maybe just a little thinner. I think Rimmel Lasting Finish, one of the real benefits to that foundation, why I've liked it so much over time, is that it manages to be long wearing and be good coverage, but it's very easy to blend still. This didn't have quite the coverage of Lasting Finish, but it gives you a good natural look. I've applied this with my fingers. I've used a stippling brush. It went on beautifully with a stippling brush. It's definitely the big difference I noticed between these two are the way they blend out. The bottom line for both of these Rimmel ones, I don't think they have beat Rimmel Lasting Finish in my book, but they're not bad, and I mean, they do offer you something different. If you're looking for a little bit lighter coverage and a really smooth blend, go for Match Perfection. If you're looking for something that is going to be pretty good for oily skin, but you might have a little challenge blending it in, maybe shoot for the Clean Finish. The other big drugstore one that a lot of people have been wondering about right now is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, and the packaging looks like this. Another glass jar foundation, twist off top, no little spatula inside. Now I'm like hoping that's there for different products that I try. But little, I guess, description of this one on the bottle: matches natural tone, blends seamlessly, lets skin breathe. And the overall idea with this line is that you buy the foundation, it's got a certain number that corresponds with a powder, a concealer. You can figure out your blush and your bronzer, I guess. This is probably a little bit thinner than any of the ones I've mentioned. So it's most similar to the Match Perfection, but maybe just a hair thinner than that. I've heard some complaints of people with oily skin saying they just look like an oil slick at the end of the day with Fit Me. I have combination skin and I didn't feel like it totally broke down on me. I really did like the way it blended in, but it definitely didn't look as fresh by the end of the day. It may not have held up as well as Match Perfection on me, but it's just definitely like a light to medium coverage foundation. So if you got pretty good skin and you've got skin that's not too problematic where oil is concerned, you may enjoy this just for that light layer of coverage, but just don't over apply it. Something that you got to worry about at times with foundation. You think, oh, it's not enough coverage, I'll just build it up. Even foundations that appear to be light and then you build them up, if they're not going to have that good staying power with them, it will just break down over the course of the day, and you will just kind of have a little bit of a mess on your hands in terms of blotchiness. That's what I see. When I see a foundation break down, I see the oil come out in certain areas and then it doesn't appear as even or smooth. So that's something you got to think about. Other end of the spectrum. This one from Lancome is definitely full coverage. It claims to be like a 14-hour foundation. It says all skin types, and it does advise you to blend quickly on one area of the face at a time. Looks freshly applied all day, no fading, no retouching. So this foundation is really nice because it's got a lovely little pump applicator. Obviously more expensive than those drugstore options, and I kind of wanted to just see, because I haven't tried a lot of department store foundations, but there have been several of you that have said this one is awesome. And that's the one I have on today, and I feel like finish-wise, it goes on really smoothly. This is serious coverage. This is coverage that is right up there with Revlon Color Stay For Me, if not even a little bit more matte coverage. So probably the most matte finish foundation I've tried. It did blend in smoothly. I felt like even though I went as advised portion by portion of the face, but it still had almost a silky feel as I put it on. So that's kind of an accomplishment, to be that good coverage but also be blendable. I feel like this does last well all day. I wore it to a special event the other night and it held up beautifully. So I think this is probably the best high-end foundation I've tried so far, because it gives the coverage, it gives the staying power, and those are a couple of the things that I look for, as well as ease in application with a foundation. So I hope that gives you kind of a heads up on what I'm thinking about some new foundations that I've tried lately. I know I referenced Color Stay and Rimmel Lasting Finish because those are a couple of my ultimate favorites. I think they are great values. Would I go back and repurchase this again? Is this ultimately better than Rimmel Lasting Finish? I don't know. I think Rimmel Lasting Finish is going to be my favorite because I think the price is so much better. But this is good for a high-end foundation if that's what you're looking for. If maybe you've had a reaction to Rimmel or you felt like the shade selection wasn't there, you're going to have a better shade selection with Match Perfection than you are with any of their other foundations. So I hope this helps you out, guys, as you're kind of scouring the drugstore or the department store for a foundation. Have a great day, and I'll have more videos to come.